Well, in every Total Drama vlog, I usually talk about the latest episode, specifically from Total Dramarama. For this vlog, we're doing something that's different. After feeling so sick and tired of looking over these Total Dramarama episodes, I figured I just had enough of it. I knew the minute when I started watching Season 2 of Total Dramarama, there was no high hopes for any improvements whatsoever. And all I get was nothing but the same reactions over and over again. They're either boring, forgettable, or just plain disgusting, or just not overall fun. Even the episodes I have yet to talk about, like the Casper ripoff, the Cody aliens, and all those other stuff, I felt uninterested on talking about them at all. Season 3 would finally introduce some additional characters like Lightning and Sugar. Whoopee, I guess? I don't know. But at the end of the day, it was a case of too little too late. And even though Total Dramarama is finally ending in 2022 with Fresh TV moving on back to their main series for a revival series, I still felt uninterested to talk about Total Dramarama because there's nothing fun to talk about it. So after careful consideration, I just decided to just talk about the episodes from the main series. Now granted, I already talked about all the seasons of Total Drama and expressed my opinions on them, and I do express how much I enjoy the series as a whole. But the thing is, I talked about the seasons in general, not the episodes individually, and to be fair, there's a lot of good pros and cons for each episode individually. There are some good episodes to talk about, and there are some episodes that are fun to nitpick. Even the first season, Total Drama Island, did have some tiny flaws from the episodes or just the story in general. So to be fair, there is a good balance on praising and criticizing the episodes individually. But it's not just reviewing the episodes, but it's also fun to talk about some interesting facts that happened during the episodes. So from here on in, for the rest of the Total Drama vlogs, I'm just going to talk about the episodes from the main series, starting with the first season, Total Drama Island. Here's how it's going to work. I'm not going to talk about one for each of the Total Drama vlog, but 2 or more episodes at a time that ties to a specific theme like relationships, two-parters, specials, or anything like that. And just a little heads up, I'm not going to promise to look over all the episodes from the main series plus the Ridonkulous Raid because I'm only going to do this until an official announcement has been made regarding the HBO Max revival series of Total Drama. And for anyone else that really wanted me to come back to do more Total Dramarama vlogs, I'm sorry, my mind's made up. It's no longer fun to talk about it. So let's start from the real beginning of the main series before we move on to a new beginning for the revival series. It's time for a Total Drama vlog, Total Drama Island. Let's start with the first episode that started it all with Not So Happy Campers Part 1 and 2, which is considered the pilot episode of Total Drama Island. So I remember when I was a huge Cartoon Network fan, there was a promo marketing Total Drama Island when it finally made it to the States, and there was this announcer making a big announcement saying, 1 island, 22 campers, and a whole lot of money. Who's going to win it? Since I was open to some of the new shows that were going to be released on Cartoon Network, like Chowder, The Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack, and the other shows, I was curious about what this show was all about. When I saw the series premiere, I was actually more hyped than I was before. If you don't know what the 2-part episode was all about, it stars Chris McClain, voiced by Christian Potenza, who is the host of the show for Total Drama Island. He explains the rules of Total Drama Island that 22 contestants have to stay at this yucky summer camp for the next 8 weeks, and whoever stays on the island without getting voted off will win $100,000. And for the most part, for part 1, it's pretty much introducing the campers like Bev, DJ, Gwen, and all your favorite characters you remember so fondly. Chris McClain, of course, splits the contestants into 2 teams, the Screaming Gophers and the Killer Bats, and also gives out a confessional camp for the contestants to share their inner thoughts. After that brief tutorial, they try to settle in with their cabin and try to survive Chet's food, which I'm pretty sure it's alive. Yeah, and part 1 clearly ends on a cliffhanger for the first challenge, which in part 2, the first challenge is to jump off a cliff into shark-infested waters. The rules are pretty much simple. They had to jump off the cliff and try to avoid the sharks by going to the safe zone. The more team members that get into the pool, the more they receive a reward for their next challenge. Their second challenge is to build a hot tub. Whoever makes the best hot tub gets a wicked hot tub party, while the loser becomes the first ever camper to be voted off the island. Now when it comes to the first episode of the series, it was a good introduction, and it gives the audience a time to breathe about what the show is all about. As you would expect, it's a satire of Survivor. Just survive on an island and win $1 million or $100,000 as of season 1. And once in a while, there were some good funny jokes, like Owen's reaction when he comes to the island, especially the scene where he meets Justin, even though this is the first time they meet each other. And there was actually a hilarious scene where Duncan tries to kill a cockroach with an axe. My only nitpick for part 1 is that since there are 22 contestants, it doesn't give us enough time to know these characters very well, and you will forget these characters on your first viewing. In fact, when I saw Total Drama Island for the first time, I didn't know over half of the contestants. I only knew Beth, Gwen, Owen, Katie, and Sadie, just to name a few. But the more episodes they release, the more you will remember the characters easily. The only way you can remember these characters on your first viewing is if you saw their audition tapes first, which I have seen, and my personal favorites would have to be Duncan, Trent, Izzy, Tyler, and DJ. Now with Chris McClain and Chef, you will remember them easily since they are the main stars of the series. Like Chris McClain is a satire of Jeff Probst, the host of Survivor, and Chef is the crazy chef. When we get to part 2 of the main series, it clearly shows it definitely wants to be a game show. When we see the contestants jump off the cliff, they fully display what they can do with their reactions on jumping off the cliff, their screaming in pain, or even some funny moments. The best funny moment I got from the jumping off the cliff scene is when Justin missed the safety zone just when you think the sharks are about to eat him, but he used his hot looks to seduce them, and that's just crazy. But I will admit, Owen did have the best dive and the best splash out of all of them. When it comes to the hot tub challenge, it is pretty good. It does have some nice interaction between the teammates, from the Screaming Gophers cooperating as a team to the Killer Bass being the exact opposite. But that doesn't mean the Screaming Gophers are going to be perfect throughout every episode. There's actually a good conflict involving Heather and Lashana, which definitely foreshadowed about Heather becoming the main villain of the series. And when it comes to the Killer Bass, they kind of depend on their comedy than cooperating as a team, specifically on the scenes where Katie and Sadie stepped on poison ivy, or the scene where Tyler and Duncan fight over a hammer and it hit Harold right in, you know. But when the challenge was over, the episode was put to the real test of deciding who's going to be the first camper to ever be voted off on Total Drama Island. And when just heads up, I will spoil who did end up getting eliminated for every episode of the main series. So when I had my first viewing of part 2 of Not So Happy Campers, I actually thought Courtney was going to get eliminated. I didn't hate her or anything, it's just that she lacked a good leadership after the events from the hot tub challenge. In addition, she was one of the 2 members of the Killer Bass that didn't jump off the cliff and wore the chicken hat despite saying she was a counselor in training. The minute when Chris McClain started Tribal Council and when they reached to the bottom 2 between Courtney and Ezekiel, I felt super nervous about who's gonna stay and who's gonna be voted off first. I was like, come on Chris, pick someone already! Give someone a marshmallow and send someone to the dock of shame already! When I saw Courtney was the last person to get a marshmallow, I was actually shocked that she was safe and Ezekiel was the first one voted off. So I will admit, I was shocked that Ezekiel was the first camper to be voted off, but after rewatching it, I did understand why he was voted off. Before rewatching the episode, I totally forgot on my first viewing that Ezekiel was a character of the Total Drama series. The only thing we could remember from him was that he's homeschooled and that he said boys are better than girls after the hot tub challenge, which was the dumbest thing he ever said. Even Chris tried to warn Zeke about not saying much and trying not to get kicked off too early, which he ended up screwing up anyway. If Ezekiel did not say that one thing, he would survive another episode, but instead, he just blew it. It shows that you not only have to win a survival show on a physical or mental game, but on the social game as well. If you don't have the best interactions with others, you're less likely gonna make it further. So even though when I watched Total Drama Island the first time and I was shocked that Ezekiel was voted off first, it was a good elimination ceremony. I really liked it. The best part about part 2 was the final scene with Courtney, where she looks into the camera and says, "I'm going to win this, and nothing's gonna stop me." It clearly shows she's not gonna make the same mistake again. So on the first 2 episodes, you may not remember these characters yet until the later episodes or you saw their audition tapes, but parts 1 and 2 were definitely a good introduction to the Total Drama Island series, and because of the popularity, it made me hype for more episodes of Total Drama Island. In fact, Total Drama Island is the reason why I would watch the actual shows they were satirizing, like Survivor or Big Brother, and I was grateful for that. But this was only the beginning for Total Drama, as there were more dramas to come in the next episodes.